Hello, Rachel here. I wonder, do you have an experience, a memory of a time when you didn't listen to your intuition? In hindsight, you knew you were getting the clues, the red flags were waving, but you didn't listen. And you did something that may not have gone so well, that you may regret, or that actually caused pain. I know I have an experience of that was well, I'm sure I have lots, but the biggest one was when I was having a surgery back in, I believe it was 2006, and it was a problem with my hip. It wasn't a huge deal. It would just seize up sometimes, and apparently, after 3 doctors, surgery was the answer. So I had surgery all scheduled with this particular doctor. And I was a bit worried because the only surgery I'd ever had was a cesarean delivery of my son. And so I did my due diligence. I had a friend at the time who was a professor of orthopedics. I asked him to check this surgeon out. Everything seemed good. Anyway, surgery day came. My son was quite young then, so my mother had come out from England to help care for him while I was doing the surgery and recovering. And so I went to the surgery center and had someone drop me off, was waiting and waiting. The doctor was really, really late. He ended up getting there 2 hours late for this surgery. And then one thing after another just wasn't right. And I had at least a couple of moments when I thought, "Oh, I could just leave. I could walk. I was okay. It wasn't the end of the world, this problem. It was annoying. Sometimes the hip would just seize up. And I definitely had a moment of, I probably should just leave. This doesn't feel good. But I put those nudges, those thoughts aside and just considered all the logical aspects. I paid some money already. My mum had come from England. It was before Christmas and all of the things. So I went ahead with it. And you know what? It was a real disaster. Immediately after the surgery, when the initial painkillers wore off, I had so much pain in my leg. It was just insane. No matter how many painkillers I took, it still was horrible. And one thing after another, I just couldn't get it better. It was way worse than the problem I went in there to sort out. And in the end, I had a hip replacement. I had that particular hip replaced in England, and the doctor told me that it had been messed up with that previous surgery. And just not listening to my intuition is one of the biggest regrets. I mean, I've let it go now. My hips not bad. It's not perfect. Sometimes I still have issues, so it's a constant reminder, but I will never again not listen to my intuition. And that was one of the pivotal moments of my life when I realized I do have this incredible intelligence that I have access to, and we all do. And since then, I've gone on to use my intuition more and more to practice, to learn, to develop, and to teach people how to tune into their intuition. Now, mostly what we use it for is tuning into our true self, our higher self, tuning into that beautiful divine guidance. And that's wonderful. And it also can be incredibly practical. You can tune in to things like, is this surgery or whatever? Not that I would ever give medical advice, but I use my intuition. I just tune into how I feel with medical situations. Is this the right doctor for me? How do I feel? And I kind of have a really strong feeling now if I'm working with someone who resonates as really good for me. When I leave the doctor's office, I tune into how I feel. And if I feel good, that's a good person to work with. If I don't, then I just move on, find someone else. And there's lots and lots of ways to use intuition. I love to teach it. And when I teach intuition, I do teach some of the science behind it. And we were talking about energy and vibration. That's what intuition is. So, learning some of the science around that really helps you trust it and know there is a very real aspect to intuition. And then there's several techniques that I love to teach. And then the most important part is getting to practice. So we'll practice together with a group, and you get to practice with different people. And that's what really helps you learn that this is a real thing. This is a real skill that you can develop and you can trust. So, if you would like to learn more about tuning into your own intuition, your own beautiful, high, wise guidance, go to the description here and follow the link. Now, I'd love to see you on my intuition class.